Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my channel Learning Bell. Computer Science students Database Management System course. In this lecture we will cover lecture number 1 of chapter number 3, Entity Relationship Model. These are the contents that we will cover in this lecture. So let's start. What is entity relationship model? The logical representation of data in an environment, in an organization or in any system is called entity relationship model. Basically, you should know firstly what is the model. Model is a way that is used to describe any system, and now we come to what is entity relationship model. Entity relationship, there are two main words in this model name. Entity, we will see in next slides what is entity and relationship in detail. Anything, any object in the environment is called entity for which data is collected and maintained. Relationship is association between entity. This model was introduced by Patterson in 1976. He is American computer scientist. This model is used to view the entire system, means complete system, as a collection of entities related to one another. Means in a system there are many entities that are interconnected with each other. So representation of data as a collection of entire system in entities form that are related to one another, this is called entity relationship model. Entities are also called elements, and there is association among the different elements of a system. There are many advantages of entity relationship model. That's why this model is used. First of all, conceptual simplicity. This model provides a very easy way to represent the system by entities and their association. Even it becomes more easy to create and manage the complex database designs. And second is, it also provides visual representation. In this model, different symbol or graphics are used, that is the visual representation. And when we provide visual representation of a system, then it is become very easy to understand the system in detail. This model is also used as effective communication tool. It means, for example, manager wants to provide detail to the programmer, or programmer wants to provide detail to the manager. This model will be worked as a communication tool between them. By this model, the system can be cleared clearly and in very easy way. Next advantage is integrated with relational database model. Now, the question that what is the relational database model? Relational means in the form of relation. Students, keep in mind very carefully that relational database model, when this word comes in database management system or in computer science course, relational means not relationship. This means in the form of relation, and relation is also not relationship, not association, relation. I am saying the word relation. Relation is used in computer science for table. Now, the table is not a dining table or any other form of table or study table, no. Table means relation is a term that is combination of rows and column that are used for entering data. Like if you people see Excel sheet, it is also in form of rows and column. In relational database model, relation mean table intersection of rows and columns is used for storing the data. This database model is called relational database model. Basically, there are two steps of designing database. First is the conceptual means logical database design, and second is the physical database design. So, for designing the database, firstly conceptual means logical database design is created, that is by the entity relationship model, and then it is easily converted. Integrated with relational database model, it means that entity relationship model, that is a logical database design, it is easily converted to the relational database model, that is the physical database design. Next, we see what are the different elements of ER model. There are three main elements, or we can say components of ER model. First is the entities, second is attributes, and third is relationships. Entities, we look about the entities. Entity is a person, place, event or thing for which data is collected and maintained. For example, if we talk about a college system, in college, student, teacher, class, courses, hostel, library, all these are the objects for which data is required. Data is needed. So, all these objects are called entities. There are many examples of entities: person, place, object, event, concept. If we talk about person, teacher, player, doctor, lawyer, etc., all these terms fall in entities of person. And place, country, city, town, all these are the different places. Object, any object, it can be any object like vehicle, toy, furniture, any other object. Event, purchase, admission, to get registration, all these are the different events. And concept like accounting, accounts work, programming, these are the different concepts. So, entity can be a person, place, object, event or a concept for which data is required. Entity is represented by rectangle. Next we see entity type. Basically, these are three terms that are associated with entity. First is entity type. Entity type is also called entity class. A set of entities with same attributes is called entity class. Like if we talk about students, set of all students, it is student entity class. Similarly, set of all teachers is a teacher entity class, means all students have same characteristics, attributes. Similarly, teacher have same attributes. Same attributes means not the same values of attributes. It is saying that attributes same mean like one student, name, roll number, subject, class, course, these are the required values. Another student, for another students also these values are required, like student name, registration number, roll number, all these are the different attributes that all students have. So, entity class or entity type is a set of all students. Now we come to entity instance. A member of an entity class. For example, if we say student entity class, then every student in this student entity class will be entity instance. For example, a student Amna is an entity instance of entity class student. Students, entity class and entity type are the same terms. Next is the entity set, a set of all entities of a particular entity type at a specific time. For example, in after getting registration in new course, when it will be enrolled, then set of all students in a class is a entity set. If we talk about after starting the course next month, might be possible some newcomers are included. So at that time the entity set will be different. Entity set is set of all entities at a given time, at a specific time. We come to the attributes. What are the attributes? Attributes are characteristics or properties of an entity like student, roll number, name, class, address, phone, email. These are the different attributes of student. Here student name is mentioned outside the parenthesis and within parenthesis attributes are written. The next is books example. If there is books entity class, book ID, title, author name, edition, what is the book edition, all these are the attributes of books. Similarly, patient has patient ID, name, medical history, address, that are its attributes. An attribute is represented by oval symbol in ER model. Attribute name is mentioned in within oval. Next term is relationships. Are you getting my point, students? Mostly students feel it difficult to draw ER model, but I have tried my best to make it very easy and clear for you. So please watching from start to end my video lecture, and then you will feel it very easy for you. Let's start relationships. Relationship is logical connection, means association or interaction between various entities. Like if we talk about college, in college teacher, student, courses, library, hostel, all these are the entities and these entities are associated with each other. Like teacher teaches the students, so there is association between teacher and student, and this is association is called relationship. The entities which participate in a relationship are called participants. Like if we talk about student and teacher relationship, then teacher and students are two entities that are called participants. Relationship may be partial or total. If a relationship exists between entities when every part of first entity is associated with every part of second entity, this is called the total, otherwise it is partial. Let's see example. Suppose a relationship between supplier and part. If every part is supplied by a supplier, then there is a total relationship, otherwise it will be partial. Otherwise mean if every part is not supplied by a supplier, then there is partial relationship. I give a very real example. Like now I am teaching you about anti-relationship model, but many students may not mentally very present during lecture. It means student-teacher relationship, but all students are not mentally interacted with teacher. So I call it partial relationship between teacher and students. If all students are actively participated in this relationship, So then it is total relationship. Relationship is represented by a diamond symbol in entity relationship model. Next is types of attributes. First type is simple attribute, an attribute that can not be divided into smaller components. Here is example, person is an entity class and gender its attribute. Gender is not divided, means it cannot be divided into simple or smaller components. So this attribute is simple attribute. Next, second type is composite attribute, an attribute that can be divided into smaller components like employee is an entity class, address is its attribute and address is divided into smaller components country, city and street. This is called composite attribute. Single valued attribute, an attribute containing only single value. Here is student entity class, its roll number, name, class. These are single valued attributes because these attributes contain only single value. Next type is multi-valued attribute, an attribute that contain more than one value, means two or more values. Here is employee entity class. Attributes are gender and skills. Skills attributes is multi-valued because an employee may contain more than one skills. For example, an employee is good programmer, he is also web developer and he may be also a manager. So these are the different skills of an employee. So skills is the multi-valued attributes. And multi-valued attributes is represented by double oval line. Next is stored attribute. Stored attribute that is stored in database. Here is example of employee entity class. Address and date of birth of employee is stored in database. Next is derived attribute. Derived attribute is such attribute that is not stored in database but it can be derived, means it can be calculated from another stored database stored attribute. Like here date of birth and address of students, these are the stored attributes, but age is not stored attribute. It can be calculated or derived from date of birth that is stored in database, but here age is derived attribute. So when it will be required, then age will be derived from date of birth. It is called derived attribute. Next is the identifier attribute, an attribute that identifies an instance. Instance means any member of an entity class among other instances. So an attribute that identify an instance among other instances of entity class is called identifier attribute. Here is example, student entity class, age, roll number, address and date of birth. These are the different attributes of students, and roll number is used as an identifier attributes because every student has unique roll number for its identification in a student entity class.